Hello everyone, this is Bobbin Threadbare, and welcome back to Sleeping Dogs. You can see I've got a new outfit here. This is the Russian gangster, as opposed to the New Zealand gangster I was the other day. The Russian gangster has a buff to it, which is firearm accuracy. And as for, melee combat, well, that's why I've got 2 buffs in my apartment now. So I'm basically covered for whatever may come. And there's a lot that's going to be coming, because I've finished up all of the side stuff. Finished up the mandatory second police case. So now it's time to head back to the main plot.
Alright, I'll take it.
Good luck, Wei. The gods are watching.
And that mess we left it in, back with the wedding.
Hey, what can I do for you?
Alright, what looks sufficiently Russian mobster here?
I used to drive one of those. Then I lost my job.
Yes. Quite a sad story there, fellow. You know what? I'm gonna get me some face meter too.
You're looking for something special? I can take you places you didn't even know existed.
Might as well try everything once, right?
You got a favorite country? Where? France? Greece?
Not quite sure what that,
I tell all my customers they're amazing. But this time, I mean it.
Sure you do. I get, like, French kissing, but Greece? Like, literally Greece, maybe? Oh, well.
Ice cream! Get your ice cream here!
I'm starving.
Thanks! Enjoy!
Alright. It's weird. The extra buffs aren't popping up. Pretty sure you can have more than 3.
We gotta do something about this, man.
Shut the fuck up, Jackie. We gotta think.
You gotta think.
Shut up, both of you. Winston's gone. Right now, we gotta stick together.
We just can't let the 18K get away with this.
What makes you so sure it was 18K?
We all saw them. They were definitely 18K. Even stupid Jackie knows that.
You ever think maybe they were just trying to look like 18K? Look, we've had a few skirmishes with them lately, but nothing major. It doesn't make sense that they would do something this big.
So who do you think it was?
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. And who the fuck are you?
I'm here for Mr. Lee. I take it you've heard of Big Smile Lee.
He's another Sun On Yi boss, Red Bull, just like Winston.
Okay, what can we do for Mr. Lee?
He has decided that for the time being, you may continue your operations in this area. But the percentage previously paid to Winston will now go to Mr. Lee.
That's an interesting proposition. But I have a counteroffer from Mr. Lee. I'd appreciate if you relay this back to him word for word. Can you do that? You tell Mr. Lee that his people stay the fuck out of our territory, and in return, we'll let him live.
I don't think you'll find that offer to his liking.
I think you'll find that I don't give a fuck. You see our guest out, make sure he doesn't get lost.
You'll regret this. I promise you that.
Oh man. I'm gonna regret this immediately. But first, it's time to hack one of these lockboxes. I've been staring at that thing throughout that entire cutscene. Hooray! A sports watch. Alright, now let's actually do something.
Back off! I'll kill him! Get downstairs!
And this is why I like the mouse and keyboard. Also this gun. This gun is also pretty nice. Yeah, not all of them can really support this sort of consistent headshots, you know? But, you know, this Magnum pistol. Oh, more guys. Hang on. Gonna go into slow-mo here. Oh, here comes some more. Yeah, you don't even have to jump towards them. Just as long as you jump, you go into slow-mo mode, and then they all die. Yeah, I'm gonna need something a little heavier for what's to come.
Get the car! Get the car!
One thing you definitely have to say about Mr. Big Smiley, guy does not waste any time. Yeah, that accuracy bonus is really coming in handy here. Now, if there's one downside to mouse aiming with this game, it's that anytime you so much as move where you're pointing, the crosshairs go wide.
Shit, man, he's getting away. Come on, let's go.
That's a lot easier to do with a mouse than with a controller.
Step on it.
Oh yeah, by the way, well, first of all, I should mention that it is possible to take down the Ponytail's car here. The end plays out the same, whether or not you do so. I just want to say that it is possible. But the thing I was going to say, by the way, is that I have turned off auto-aiming. I did that actually like 5-6 videos back. Just didn't say anything. Jesus, he's got a lot of guys. But fortunately, the game established that fact before this started. It's not exactly going to establish all of the armies of goons that come after us, but still. Look at all those guys. A fleet of cars coming after us. And I keep ducking in, by the way, because I believe that is faster than waiting for the regular reload animation. Are they all gone? No, not yet. God damn. Sure are blowing up a lot of cars. Nice. Oh man, I forgot about you.
Yeah. Don't let him get away, man.
No way you get away clean, Ponytail! No way!
Man, it's a good thing that Wei Shen had his seatbelt on. Oh wait, no. No, he quite specifically didn't. And somehow didn't get his head smashed on the roof of the car when it flipped. I feel like I could have tackled him by now. But once again, the ending gets pretty cinematic, so it can't really happen early. I'm still getting kind of inconsistent results for whether or not Wei Shen will jump or will roll when he lands. Well, that lost me some time, just smacking my face into that gate. Luckily, foot races have just as much rubber banding as the... Oh.
You're done. Are you done?
Looks like he's a brawler. Can't block, though. Like, seriously.
Tell your boss, stay the fuck out of my territory.
Fuck you, eh?
But I think that is the last we ever see of that guy.
Damn it! Stop! Police! Keep up! Don't let this get out of hand! Keep yourself up!
Ah, shit. Just what I need.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ending is kind of rushed. Problems during production. It's, this whole thing where they,
Get in!
Hold on. What's this?
Who the fuck are you guys?
Change your tone, Shen. Miss Yang is a red pole, and she just saved your life.
Miss Jang? Broken Nose Jang? My apologies, Madame Red Bull.
So why'd you bring me out here?
I have heard a lot about you, Wei Shen. I will get to the point. You must realize that you cannot stand against Big Smile Lee alone.
That's what everyone tells me. Roland Ho said I'd need other bosses to support me.
Indeed. Nah, I believe in harmony, balance, peace, and I don't mind spilling a little blood to achieve it. With Uncle Po in the hospital, there's much uncertainty in the Sun On Yi. If he recovers, we will both be stable and strong.
But if he dies?
The 18K presents a very real threat. We cannot afford to appear weak. We will need to elect a new chairman quickly.
You, for instance.
Ah, Big Smile Lee represents a step backwards for the Sun On Yi. Why continue to force girls into prostitution and pornography when there are other, less archaic, more profitable ways for us to make money? I have very different ideas about our future. I want to take the Sun On Yi forward, but it would be unwise even for me to stand against Big Smile Lee unaided, which brings me to you. Nah, we both appear to have the same problem, Wei Shen, and the opportunity to benefit if we work together.
So it seems. I have my own reasons for hating Big Smile Lee's operation. Now, if you stand against him, you can count on me.
Good. We will talk soon. 早唞啦吓，魏神。
And so, a new player has made herself known on the board. News story, huh? Alright, Jackie, well, you'll have to wait for now. But yeah, like I was saying, the game had a troubled development. So this is explaining how Big Smile Lee gets his, launders his money, basically. He has connections to legitimate film industry studios, executives. Sleeping Dogs had a troubled development cycle. I mean, Sleeping Dogs is not the game's original name, for one thing.
You have a car in here?
That looks nice. So yeah, I just cut out the drive over. Oh, you turned off the bug.
Mrs. Chu. I was just stopping by to see if there was anything you needed. I know it's no consolation, but I gotta look at one of the gunmen from the wedding. Now, I will find him, and I'll make him tell me who's responsible.
唔使，你揾到佢，你帶佢嚟呢度，你拎佢俾我啊！
Well, all right then. A black frame, by the way, is sort of a Chinese-Japanese sign that the person in the frame is dead.
Ricky, this way.
Shit, Way. How you holding up?
I got a lot of loose ends to clean up. I need an outsider for a couple things. You got Johnny Ratface's number?
Johnny Ratface? Man, stay away from that lunatic. You give him a job, you're gonna have to steam clean your conscience when he's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know all about him. He's my man.
I guess you know what you're doing.
I'm not giving him a job, that's for sure. Oh, it's another triangulation thing. Alright, I'm game. I can get there pretty fast, too. Alternator? I guess I'm just assuming because the one car had fastback. Ah, here we go.
Hey, is this Johnny?
Yeah?
A friend sent me to you. Works with a lot of movie stars, know what I mean? So I got a problem. He said you could help me.
I'm busy.
Wait, please, look. I trade diamonds down in Central. My partner took off with all our stock. And by the time the cops look into it, he'll be halfway to Shanghai. I'll never get them back.
Diamonds, huh?
All I need is someone to recover them. I pay a large fee.
Okay. What's the guy's name?
His name is, Large Bucktooth Cho. He lives at 101 Aberdeen Road, but I think he may be at his girlfriend's apartment. Got you, fucker.
I'm not sure you're allowed to hear the whole thing without failing, so... I kind of have to use my best judgment, and this is going to be a lot longer if I go this way. I kind of have to use my best judgment for how long I can listen to the conversation before something bad happens. One nice thing about maxing out the cop score is that I don't have to care about any kind of collateral damage.
Baby, I promise.
Are you insane?
Think of all the money we'll make. This is our future, you and me.
Fuck you, asshole. I'm not taking off my clothes for you or anyone else.
Looks like you barely put any on. I mean, damn, that dress is low cut. I mean, I'm not saying that Johnny Ratface should have made any assumptions. I'm just saying that... Oh, great. Human slavery down at the docks. Even better. I'd say we should do something about this. Oh, right, he's armed. How about you? Finally, it works. Jesus Christ, Way. Not sure what I'm really doing with these guys. Just keep doing all sorts of different things. Now, over the railing. Into the water. Ooh. Oh, there's one more environmental left. You know, I might as well use it. It's here. It gives me a bonus. Ah, crap, they were talking. I missed the conversation. Oh, here's another environmental. This guy's got a knife. Ah, damn it, I tackled the wrong guy. Yeah, I'm trying to do the running tackle, but Wei just keeps missing. So not going fast enough or something? Was that it? Man, that's annoying. Well, I might as well use a knife on somebody. Oh, hey there.
Hey, you!
You're armed, are you? Well, luckily, I'm still in my accuracy outfit. So it's going to be headshots from here till the end of this sequence. Also a lot of jumping over things.
Get out of the way!
So long as I keep killing people, I just will never leave that until I need to reload. The slow-mo, I mean. Seriously.
Protect me! This guy's a psycho!
Cover schmover. All I need is slow motion. That's my target, by the way, so I probably shouldn't kill him. He still has information I need. Alright, two guys here. One's up there behind the plywood. Now, you can destroy the plywood, like you may have noticed that it's destructible. But it's more efficient to just murder him.
See you later, motherfucker!
I wish it didn't have to rev the engine every time he got on a motorcycle. That loses me so many precious seconds each time. And this is not the direction he was going. I should have paid more attention to the map. Oh look, there's my face beater bonus. Or did I get another one during the time I cut out? That might have been the case. What the? I don't think I shot that guy's tire. And I don't know what the hell just happened there. Just in general, like, what? What? Anyway, this is the target car. I actually probably should not be shooting it. No, my goal is to shoot everybody else until there is nobody else. And then I can action hijack the one car. Also, you may have noticed, but so long as I hold the aiming button down, I never leave slow motion. Which is convenient. It takes a little longer, seeing as I have to reload in slow motion too, but, well, among other things, I believe it takes control of your speed, so you don't actually have to, you know, speed up or slow down. You go at a consistent speed, the speed you were going at when you entered slow motion. Alright, I guess that's everybody, because it's telling me to action hijack. Telling me how to action hijack. Same difference. Alright, gotta get close. Gotta get in a position where I'm not about to be run over by anybody. So here we go, and, camera? You want to work with me here?
Who are you? What do you want?
A friend of mine wants to serve you some noodles.
What? You crazy? Look, man, I got powerful friends.
Yeah? Who would that be?
They gonna kill you.
Tell me their name, so we can go see them right now. Look, what are the odds they're gonna even admit they even know you?
Fuck you, I'm not gonna tell you nothing.
You don't have to. Someone else will ask the question.
Well, fuck him too.
Yeah, good luck with that. You know, torture doesn't work. At least not the way people think it does. But in this case, it's not about getting information. It's specifically about the torture. Well, specifically about revenge.
Johnny the Ratface. Meet Mrs. Chu. Winston's mother.
Osama! I don't know what this guy told you!
佢話俾我聽 ，Winston 死嗰日你就喺嗰度。
Fuck！
而家你話俾我聽，邊個叫你做啊？
I don't know what you're talking about, you crazy old bitch! Please!
喂，你而家應該走，你走啦喂。
Wait! Don't leave me here! She's fucking crazy! Okay, I'll tell you anything you want to know! Just please, don't!
She has a strong arm. Oh, what? Only one triangle? Seriously? San Francisco Police Report. Well, Internal Affairs Report. So yeah, this is about the time that Wei Shen killed the man who gave his sister a lethal dose of heroin. Not enough evidence to link Wei Shen to the crime, although there are no other primary suspects. Alright. Looks like we're down to one story mission, but we've just done 2, so there are a couple of side missions that just opened up. Yeah. Triad Highway and the one up in downtown. Let's go do them. Oh, what's this? Oh. Yeah, now that we've done the one... What? Wait, what? What? Now I'm in a new car. Okay. Apparently I don't get to choose my car for this, because I might have chosen poorly. Well, luckily this is a pretty decent car. I think it's like the Triad Enforcer car is what it's called. Also, they gave me a decent weapon. Definite plus, though. Oh, Jesus. A definite plus there. But yeah, now that we've done the big run-and-gun missions, well, now they're just throwing them at you for events and favors. And, funny story is that because this is an event here, I don't actually have to care about civilian cars. Or about racking up Triad points. Or actually, for events I do. That is something. So yeah, I should actually take care of these Triad escorts here. There was one on the previous truck, I just completely ignored it. Come on, explode. I know you want to. Oh, whatever. I think I heard it explode in the distance. There you go. I think you're a Triad Enforcer too. I mean, the reticle goes red when I pointed at it, so that's a good sign. Also, there are guys with guns inside that jumped out, that managed to jump clear as it exploded. Flew through the air. Nice, guys. Landed on his feet, too. But the experience was never going to be that much for an event. But hey, I get the car as the benefit. Triad Enforcer car. Now let's do what's basically the same thing, but as a favor. So there's actually a little bit of plot to go along with it.
Who are you?
I'm Big Eddie. Big Eddie Kwong. It's my job to make sure Sun Won-Yi is taking down 18K, but everyone is so fixated on the internal struggle that nothing is getting done. Will you help?
What can I do for you?
18K is running a massive drug convoy across town. If the drugs get into circulation, they'll make a fortune. It'll really strengthen the gang. I need you to take down the 4 vans before they get to their destination.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to be doing the exact same mission. So I guess it's fitting that I'm going to be using the exact same car. Oh, but hey, it's a different section of highway. That's something. Technically. But yeah, this is an event, so I don't have to care about points, positive or negative. Can't really bring myself to care to actually blow them up because of that. Oh, hey, escorts. Well, good luck getting me, guys. I mean, I do have to slow down to actually, do something about the trucks. But as far as the guys following me go, I don't really care. I mean, like, maybe if the car starts smoking? Not until then. I got more to worry about with the 2 guys in the back. But then I went and killed one of them. Oh, the driver jumped out. Good for him. Anyway, that's the end of that. So that's the end of this video. Today's movie is something I think a lot of folks have been waiting for. It's good, it's funny, it's authentically Hong Kong, and it came out just in time to take advantage of America's Kung Fu fad in the early aughts. The film's title is Kung Fu Hustle, an action comedy released in the year 2004. The story about the story. The story of Kung Fu Hustle is essentially the story of its director, producer, writer, and lead actor, all of whom are a man named Stephen Chow. Chow was born in the year 1962, so he was at a fairly impressionable age when Bruce Lee made his mark on Hong Kong cinema in the early 70s. After watching Fist of Fury, Chow knew that he wanted to be an actor, and he studied Wing Chun since that's what Lee studied when he was growing up. Chow would never become a master martial artist, however, and so when he started his acting career, it was with a children's TV show in 1983. Throughout the 80s, Stephen Chow's star would slowly rise, mostly in television, and at the end of the decade, he got his big break by starring in the single-season TV show The Final Combat, and the parody film, All for the Winner. This established Chow as a comedian, and he continued to make parodies even as he took on more creative control and moved into the director's seat. By the end of the decade, Chow was a match for Jackie Chan in terms of profits and name recognition, but only in Asian markets. A big reason Chan was able to cross into American and European markets was because his films have a lot of physical humor, but Chow uses more wordplay and references, and that kind of comedy doesn't really translate between languages and cultures. Still, that didn't stop Chow from trying his luck. In 1996, Chow began writing his own movies, and the movies were hits, but then he hit a bit of a slump and had to rein in his ambitions. But then, in 2001, Chow came up with the idea that would become Shaolin Soccer. According to Chow, the inspiration came from a soccer anime called Captain Tsubasa that was a huge hit in Hong Kong in the early 90s. He loved the over-the-top sports action of the series, and he knew that in 2001, CGI was good enough to make those moves happen in a live-action movie. So that's basically what Shaolin Soccer is. The movie was a tremendous success throughout Asia, and it became the highest-grossing film in Hong Kong. It was also big enough to catch the eye of Miramax, an American studio that was making a habit of importing Asian movies for American distribution. Unfortunately, Miramax also made a habit of cutting up those films, supposedly to make them more suitable for American audiences, and in the case of Shaolin Soccer, they cut 23 minutes because for some reason the studio executives thought that every comedy should be exactly 90 minutes and not a second longer. They also sat on the movie for 2 years, completely deflating any hype the movie had and leading to a disappointing American release. But while Miramax was a bust, Stephen Chow also got the attention of Sony Pictures. Sony Pictures is an American studio, but obviously it has connections to Japan, and thus they had a better idea of what they should do. Specifically, they invested in Chow's next movie, doubling his budget from 10 to 20 million US dollars. And with that money, Chow created Kung Fu Hustle. I won't bother describing it since that's what the next section's for, but suffice it to say that the movie made over $100 million at the box office, in part thanks to an international release. It became the highest-grossing movie in Hong Kong, and it held that record for 7 years, and it swept the Hong Kong Film Awards with 16 nominations and 6 wins, including Best Picture. Unfortunately, Chow never really capitalized on his international breakout. While he continues to stay active as a producer, he doesn't do as much acting, writing, or directing as he used to. I mean, he did create Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons in 2013, which is the highest-grossing Chinese-language film to date, but he slowed down a lot compared to his peak years in the 1990s. Anyway, how about I set the man aside and instead describe the story. The movie begins in 1930s Shanghai as everyone at a police station watch as someone beats up an officer. The attacker is an older man in a cowboy hat and boots, who happens to be the leader of the Crocodile Gang. However, once he and his cronies walk out onto the street, he gets surrounded by the massive and snappily dressed Axe Gang. Their leader, Brother Sum, explains that the old gangster's men all signed up with him while he was in the station, and after chopping off the guy's leg to keep him from escaping, Brother Sum kills the gangster. He lets his wife go, though, because, no, wait, that was a lie. He just wanted to shoot her in the back with a shotgun. And then he murders all of his other gang rivals as he performs a big dance number. The movie now shifts its attention to Pigsty Alley, a tenement so poor even the gangs don't bother with it. Merchants like Cooley, Donut, and Taylor are hard at work, showing off the skills they'll be using later in the film. And they're all flattering the greasy landlord because he owns all their asses. Well, not really. His wife Landlady runs the tenement with an iron fist, and she kicks the landlord's ass for looking at other women. Finally, we meet our protagonist. Stephen Chow as Sing strolls into the tenement with his fat buddy Bone, and they act like they're part of the Axe Gang so they can intimidate the hairstylist into giving Bone a free haircut. But the folks of Pigsty Alley aren't easily intimidated. Sing calls out the weakest looking residents in the crowd, but turns out they can all kick his ass. Eventually, Landlady whacks him with her shoe until he retreats, so he throws a firecracker to supposedly call in reinforcements. And he does manage to summon some of the Axe Gang, but that's because the firecracker blew up one of their lieutenant's hats. Singh blames the explosion on the residents, but when the lieutenant tries to intimidate the stylist, he gets thrown across the courtyard so fast no one sees it happen. So they call for more reinforcements, and with the advantage of numbers and Brother Sum's personal appearance, the Axe Gang takes over the tenement and threatens to start burning people until whomever started the fight comes forward. Cooley steps forward and takes the blame for the stylist, but he's not about to go down without a fight. He takes on the whole gang single-handedly, and it looks like he's going to get overwhelmed when suddenly a gangster makes the mistake of angering the tailor. So Taylor puts some clothes-hanging rings on his wrists and joins Cooley in fighting the gang. Then the Axe Gang decides they're done with this whole fighting fair thing and pull out their Tommy guns, but before they can use them, the chef Donut throws some bamboo poles and disarms them. And between the three of them, they defeat the Axe Gang and send their men running. Brother Sum is upset about what happened, especially since it's all thanks to a couple of nobodies like Singh and Bone. He tries to kill them, but Singh picks the locks on their shackles so fast that the axes miss. Seeing that, Brother Sum decides they might be useful later, so he tells them to go kill someone if they want to join his gang. Singh decides he wants revenge on the people of Pigsty Alley. They're kinda out of his league, but supposedly Singh knows the Buddhist palm style. We even get a flashback where a young Singh is approached by a dirty old man who flatters him about his potential and then gets him to buy a Buddhist palm pamphlet. But when he tries to use it on some bullies, they kick his ass, and they piss on him for good measure. So that's also why he wants to be a bad guy. Back at the tenement, the landlady is angry at the three merchants since they brought down the gang's attention. And, full disclosure here, when Taylor isn't smacking people around like a badass, he's this mincing gay stereotype. Anyway, the other residents get upset at the landlady for yelling at the heroes of the tenement, but she's got some kung fu of her own, and she shouts them all to silence. Singh and Bone show up and think that maybe she deserves to die, but every time they throw a knife, Singh gets stabbed instead. Then some snakes bite his lips. The landlady sees them, and then there's this roadrunner chase. Like, literally, with cartoon running legs and everything. Singh escapes to his stoplight hideout. While he's there, he writhes in pain from the stab wounds and some comically swollen lips. To express that pain, he starts open palm punching the steel walls, and in the next scene he's completely fine, which is apparently a normal recovery period for him. Meanwhile, the landlady kicks out the three kung fu masters, and Brother Sum hires two killers lugging around a giant package to get his revenge. During their meeting, they also mentioned the Beast, a kung fu master so extreme that he went insane and disappeared into an asylum. As it turns out, the big package is a guzheng, a Chinese plucked string instrument you've probably heard even if you don't know what it looks like. One assassin uses it to throw invisible blades that chop Cooley's head right off, and the other guy goes after Taylor with his tiger claw fingernails. The two are evenly matched, but then the tailor ends up outside and has to deal with the guzheng player and his invisible weapons. Donut jumps in to help as both men start to play, and while Donut gets close thanks to his spear techniques, he isn't able to touch them. Both men get severely battered, and things are looking bad, but then Landlady screams at them to be quiet, and her scream snaps all the strings on the guzheng. The assassins try to go after her, but Landlord stops them. Turns out he's a master of using Tai Chi to redirect damage, and he uses his abilities to make the two assassins harm each other instead. So the two assassins use the guzheng to make an army of undead warriors, but Landlady screams them all to pieces. Knocks out the two assassins while she's at it. She then threatens Brother Sum, who was watching, and makes him go away. Sadly, the three merchants die from their wounds. As the tenants pay their respects, Landlady and Landlord explain that the reason they don't like fighting is because their son died in a fight. And back with Singh, he's still a loser who can barely intimidate a mute ice cream seller, who turns out to be the girl he tried to help back when he was a young boy. Finding this out screws Sing up pretty bad, and it makes him tell Bone to go away. And then he gets grabbed by some Axe Gang guys. Turns out they want to make Sing a member, but they've got a reason for that. They want him to break the beast out of the asylum. So, after a brief homage to The Shining, Sing does exactly that. The beast has a surprisingly underwhelming appearance, but he's definitely the right kind of crazy who only wants to fight and kill a worthy opponent. Plus, he can stop a bullet at point-blank range with 2 fingers. The beast smashes his way into the Axe Gang's casino floor because it turns out the Married Masters have decided to save some time and show up in person. Their business is with the Axe Gang, but once the beast shows up, they know there's only one way this can end. The beast dominates their fight, overwhelming Landlord's defense and standing up against Landlady's lion's roar. Eventually, Landlady starts banging on the funeral bell they brought to intimidate Brother Sum, and they knock off the top so that she can use the bell as a megaphone. The blast smashes the beast and destroys the casino's interior, forcing the beast to kneel and admit defeat. But wait, it was a ruse, so he could stab them with these little flower knife things. The 3 grapple each other so that none of them can move. So Brother Sum tells Sing to hit one of them and end the stalemate. But Sing gets mad and hits Brother Sum, and then he smashes his wooden post on the beast's forehead. This makes the beast angry enough to smash Sing's face into the floor, but then the Married Masters grab him and flee. And since his opponents are gone now, the beast knocks Brother Sum's head off. The landlords take Sing to a Buddhist temple since they think he's going to die, but Sing's incredible healing factor keeps him alive. And as he contemplates the wrongs he's done, and as his injuries reset the chi lines flowing within him, Sing emerges from his bandages like a butterfly, transformed into the kung fu master he was always destined to be. And so the final battle begins, starting with the endless armies of the Axe Gang, because that's just how this shit works. Now, Stephen Chow isn't a master martial artist, and so the fight is more cartoonish than technically impressive, especially with the CGI and the pinball sound effects, but it's enough to keep things interesting as Sing makes his way to the beast. And when they do battle directly, Sing lands some serious blows. That is, until the beast reveals his secret technique, expanding his neck to croak and then leaping like a toad. The beast's final blow knocks Sing into the stratosphere, and as he flies up, he sees the Buddha in the clouds. Having made peace with himself, Sing at last understands the Buddhist palm, smashing the beast into the pavement without even touching him. The beast pulls the same I surrender ruse, but this time all he gets for it is another Buddhist palm to the face. Well, almost. Sing misses and spares the beast's life, and so the beast bows and calls him master. But we're not quite done yet. We get an epilogue of sorts, where we find out that Sing and Bone have opened a sweets shop, and Sing reconciles with a mute woman. But the last thing we see is the filthy old beggar, scamming another snot-nosed kid. The analysis. Kung Fu Hustle and Kung Pao Enter the Fist have a surprising number of things in common. Both are studio-funded passion projects. Both are homages to the 70s Kung Fu movies the creator watched while growing up. Both of the creators are named Steve. Both are early 2000s comedies, with at least a few cringy jokes, and even more cringeworthy CGI. I mean, I like the action scenes in Kung Fu Hustle, and they're much better than the ones in Kung Pao, but the CGI has not aged well at all. At all. But while Steve Odekirk put himself in an old Kung Fu movie by digitally replacing the protagonist with himself, Stephen Chow found a different way. Did you notice how most of the Kung Fu masters look pretty old? Over the hill, past 50 at the least. Funny thing about that, a 50-year-old in 2004 would have been 20 in 1974, a prime age to be a Kung Fu actor in Hong Kong. The actors who played the landlord and the landlady trained alongside Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung in Chinese opera, and they worked in kung fu films throughout the 70s and 80s. The Beasts actor, Long Xiu Lung, was a Bruce Lee clone in The Dragon Lives Again, and Kung Fu Hustle restarted his career. So yeah, being a Hong Kong native himself, Stephen Chow had the advantage of being able to bring on genuine kung fu actors who were in a lot of those movies he watched. And hell, you know that dirty beggar? He was played by Yuan Chongyan, part of the old Yuan clan, and aside from the hair being brown, he was basically doing an impression of his father. But if these movies have so much in common, what makes Kung Fu Hustle worth a rewatch when you should only watch Kung Pao Enter the Fist maybe once for the novelty? Neither movie is what you would call a masterpiece, nor were they trying to be, considering that they homage some infamously cheap action films. For the most part, the reason comes down to the thing I described in Kung Pao's video, the creator's sense of humor. Cheap jokes can be funny, but you have to know when and how to use them. Before the Roadrunner chase sequence, Kung Fu Hustle took a moment to establish that the landlady can in fact run like that. We didn't see the lower body blurring, since revealing that during the sequence improves the joke, but we did hear the sound effect and get a sense of the speed. And then there's simple stuff, like the sight gag of having the snot-nosed kid whose nose is literally stuffed with snot. Drawing attention to it would only have cheapened the joke, and so you leave it there for the audience to discover and laugh at, and if they don't, you just let it go. Something else that sets the movies apart is the character arc of the protagonist. Steve starts out as the chosen one and even establishes early in the film that he has these amazing abilities and fighting skills. But then he just sort of meanders through the film, moving from one comedy set piece to the next, and his power level changes drastically between scenes. He's supposedly motivated by the death of his parents, but that barely seems to factor into any of his decisions. But with Sing, we get a clear line of progression. As a child, he wants to be a good guy who fights for justice, but he changes his mind after some bullies beat him up and piss on it. But as a bad guy, he's a complete loser, partly because of his chi flow being blocked, and partly because he's denying his destiny as a hero. So when he's reminded of his one heroic act and sees the impact it's had, he starts questioning everything. He agrees to free the beast, but when he has to make a decision, he follows his heroic instincts and helps the good guys. And so, freed by his decision to be good, Sing unlocks his full potential and overwhelms the beast. As opposed to, say, using an otherwise pointless talent to destroy French aliens who literally came out of the blue. Thanks for joining me again for today's film review, and I hope I'll see you next time for a Korean story about vengeance.